Have you ever wondered why your house cat sleeps most of the day but wakes you up at random times during the night acting wild and crazy? How are humans able to carry out highly complex tasks such as driving cars and taking exams on little to no sleep, but cats require an average of 15 hours a day just to lounge around the house and occasionally chase the laser pointer? How does this make any sense, and what could be the reasoning behind it? The answer to this question lies in their DNA. Although your typical house cat may not look as vicious or intimidating as a tiger, they do share similar genetic wiring. Cats are a predatory crepuscular species who have adapted to conserving most of their energy throughout the day to hunt for a tasty meal during the night. Cats in the wild are most active from dusk to dawn hours, in which prey are most vulnerable. Sleep is universal in all mammals, and sleep-like states are found in all vertebrates and some invertebrates. Sleep deprivation causes decreased productivity and alertness, which can disable an organism's ability to escape or fight off an attacker. Lack of sleep is also found to suppress the immune system, which is the body's defense mechanism for fighting off infections and diseases. In short, sleep deprivation is dangerous and can ultimately lead to sickness or even death. Sleep cycles are regulated by internal clocks known as circadian rhythms. Circadian rhythms are self-sustained oscillations in an organism's behavior, physiology, and biochemistry, with a period typically lasting about 24 hours. They are present in all life forms and even found in bacteria. Using fruit flies, the late neuroscientist Seymour Binzer and his student made mutations in a gene that altered the natural circadian rhythm, a gene they properly named period, or PER in short. 3 neuroscientists who followed up on this pioneering genetic work were able to clone the PER gene and identify other related molecules that regulate the circadian clock. They also found that these molecules are highly conserved in other organisms, including humans. These scientists, Jeff Hall, Michael Rosbash, and Michael Young, were awarded the 2017 Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine. Circadian rhythms are present in the absence of environmental cues. For example, in laboratory experiments where mice are secluded and confined to completely blacked out areas for a 24-hour time period, they are most active in their typical hours during the night. This tells us that there must be an internal mechanism for the regulation of the circadian rhythms. Circadian rhythms are regulated by a small area in the base of the brain known as the hypothalamus. A small group of nerve cells known as the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or SCN, are responsible for the molecular mechanisms of these internal clocks. The main external stimulus cue for circadian rhythm regulation is light. When light enters the eye at the retina, a signal travels through the optic nerve into the hypothalamus. Once in the hypothalamus, the signal reaches the SCN. Signals from the SCN are relayed down the spinal cord to clusters of sympathetic nerve cells and back up to the pineal gland. When the signal reaches the pineal gland, melatonin production is inhibited. The SCN works to regulate circadian rhythms and cycles that typically repeat every 24 hours in mammal species. The SCN cells use proteins clock and BMAL1 as a clock machine to produce rhythmic activities. When clock and BMAL1 combine, they promote the transcription of PER and CRY genes. After so many PER and CRY genes are produced, they're able to bind together and inhibit the transcription by blocking clock and BMAL1 from binding to the transcription promoters. Eventually, the CRY and PER protein complexes are completely broken down and used up, and clock and BMAL1 are able to begin binding to the transcription factors to produce more PER and CRY proteins. So, do cats have circadian rhythms? Many of the biological variables that exhibit daily rhythmicity in other mammals do not appear to do so in cats. For example, sleep-wake cycles and behavioral parameters such as eating and drinking. A study conducted by the Neuroendocrine Research Laboratory in Boston, Massachusetts, revealed that cats are wired a little differently than other mammals. Whereas our natural circadian rhythms heavily depend on the presence of light to stimulate the SCN cells, that regulate melatonin production, cat circadian rhythms are not heavily affected by light. When most animals are exposed to light at times when melatonin levels are normally high, there is a rapid decrease in melatonin concentration, and suppression persists throughout the duration of the light exposure. However, cats that were exposed to constant light source produce continuous melatonin production rhythms even up to 78 days of constant exposure to light. The study concluded that the data showing the presence of melatonin rhythms and continuous light proves that cats do indeed have internal circadian timekeeping systems. The data show increased melatonin production in cats also explains why they sleep so much. So the next time you see your house cat snoozing the day away, try not to call them lazy. This was a project done in Dr. Bing Zhang's neurobiology course at Mizzou. You can follow #BrainyTigers on Twitter for more fun facts about neuroscience.